Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, Jamil wants to pass off her engagement ring to me. My MIL thinks I'm keeping her son away from his family. Handle it myself? Or put it on my husband? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Jamil wants to pass off her engagement ring to me. Maybe this would be better in the mild subreddit ick, but hang in with me here. Also mainly a rant. My BF, M22, of 5 years and I, F22, are pretty content with where we are at in our relationship. We have had our ups and downs for sure, some major rough patches if I'm being honest, and recently, within the last 2 years mainly, his mom has become a major point of contention. I've come to realize that she's incredibly narcissistic, confirmed by our couples therapist, and nearly enmeshed with BF. She's toxic, to say the least, and has been anything but an example of a healthy marriage with her own husband. Everything is always about her. If it's not boosting her ego or making her look almighty to everyone around her, she's not doing it or saying it. Quite honestly, I feel bad for her husband, but he knows no different as he grew up with a narc mother himself and thinks this is all healthy and okay. So moving on to the ring situation. BF is an only child, not by choice, and JNMIL makes that known. Jamil no longer wears her original engagement ring and had a new one made about 10 years ago. Whenever conversation around engagement or jewelry in general comes up, she makes statements like, "Don't worry OP, my diamonds are waiting for you, my diamonds are the best," or "I have plenty for you to choose from BF. And while she does have nice stuff, I don't want it. Mainly because the symbolism of a healthy marriage is pretty much non-existent with her rings, and if we went to have them reset or changed at all, she would have an absolute conniption fit. I also just don't want her looking over me for the rest of my life, sitting in my finger, or for her to be able to tell everyone about her diamonds on my finger when it should be about BF and I, not her. If we don't take the ring, she's going to rip us apart, I'm sure, and that stresses me TF out. I've not actually talked to BF about this, however, whenever talk of rings comes up, he never mentions hers and always asks about my opinions and likes/dislikes, so I have a strong feeling we're on the same page. An engagement isn't anywhere near, but this is something I unfortunately think about often because of how known she makes it that this ring is just waiting for me that I don't want. You don't have to get engaged. You don't have to have a ring if you do get engaged, and it doesn't have to be a diamond. Just because your MIL has a traditional path laid out for you guys in her mind doesn't mean you have to walk it. That's a great reminder, thank you. There are already so many aspects of our future that she will likely find untraditional, wrong in her opinion, so I'm just preparing myself for her adverse reactions now, lol. Yep, mine is an emerald. To be blunt, you and so need to make this a litmus test about yourselves and your relationship. If you, as a couple, aren't ready to set boundaries about something so basic as picking your own engagement ring, then you aren't ready to be married. Yeah, she'll throw a royal tantrum. You need to show her that her tantrums won't accomplish anything. On the other hand, if you give in to her, she'll know that she can stick her nose in every aspect of your marriage and get away with it by throwing a fit until she gets her way. This is a hill worth dying on. Good luck. We're definitely not ready for marriage, we're only 22. However, these are real things I think about and we talk about, alone and with our therapist. Happy face carrot, all this happy face carrot. Don't assume that you and BF are on the same page. Tell him that while you certainly appreciate the offer, you don't want his mother's jewelry. You don't want your engagement ring tied to his mom, it will always be her ring, and is not the same as one chosen just for you, by him. Perhaps she could keep her jewelry to pass on as heirlooms to your children. It's a nice gesture if his mother is offering, but not so much if her ring is expected to be used. In either case, you both have every right to turn her down. Never ever assume, always a bad idea. You need to tell him that you absolutely do not want her rings or diamonds. If it's a deal breaker for you, then be very clear about it. Don't wait until he proposes. I felt the same way. I said I'd rather wear a plain gold band without a stone than wear anything from my MIL. That's exactly how I feel. I'm a pretty simple person anyways, and she's not in the ring definitely emulates that. I'll definitely be having a conversation with him soon. First off, y'all got to stop talking about this in front of her. Nobody just has a conversation that keeps drifting into jewelry as a topic. Stop letting that happen. Second, you must not take the diamonds. Because then you'll owe her. And the payment she will be demanding is being your future children's third parent. Third, don't marry this man until he gets his mom in line. Mom, an engagement ring is a symbol of love between two people and the promise of a new beginning together as a new family. We will buy a new ring for this new start. Same with the wedding bands. How's she going to argue that? If she gets upset, tell her you can see she needs time to accept this is the way it is. Then leave. Talk to your BF and make sure you're on the same page. Make sure. That's a ring even Gollum wouldn't want. LOL. Semi-related, I told my fiancé I might need to quote Lord of the Rings during our ceremony. With these rings. One ring to bind them. Who says your engagement ring has to be a diamond? I got engaged almost 30 years ago. I did not want a diamond for ethical reasons. My fiancé had a gorgeous ring made for me with my favorite stone. Diamond engagement rings are everywhere. I get people stopping me to admire my ring still. I came to say the exact thing. Tell that diamonds don't mean the same as they used to, and as a couple you've decided that when the time comes you'll choose a stone and ring design that fits you better. Mine is a periwinkle blue tanzanite, and it means more to me than any diamond because it wasn't something that could be found just anywhere. Just like my so. Right here up go for a color stone. My MIL thinks I'm keeping her son away from his family. Hello everyone. Bear with me as I am new to this group and I'm just looking to get some things off of my chest. My fiancé and I have been together for almost 3 years now and recently got engaged. He is from England and we happened to meet while he was visiting a friend here in the US. We met the day before he was supposed to fly home to the UK and instantly hit it off. When he went back home, neither of us knew if we were going to survive a long-distance relationship or not, just because of the time zone, our busy schedules and the lack of money to visit each other. However, we both really loved each other and wanted things to work. And they have. While my fiancé was living back in England, I had enlisted in the military and was due to ship out in a few months. My fiancé managed to book a two-way flight to come stay with me for a few months before I left for the service. After spending a few months together and being stuck together like glue, he decided he didn't want to go back home, and instead was going to stay with my grandparents while I was away, as my family really doted on him. I tried to form a relationship with his parents during our time together before I left, and I thought his family was very nice to me, although we never really talked that often. Before I left, I spent a couple $100 just to send over a few boxes to his parents and siblings full of American goodies, since they used to live here and a lot of his siblings kind of missed the snacks. I barely heard much from anyone in regards to those packages. Regardless, I shipped out, and with what little personal time I had, I wrote his parents a letter and spent a few of my limited stamps on the letter just to make sure they would receive it. Well, they did. And I never heard back from them. In fact, my FMIL actually got on the phone with my fiancé to tell him that she only liked crude humor and didn't find the joke I put in the letter very funny. Like, who TF cares? It was an innocent, witty joke my grandma wrote me, and I found it a little uplifting. My fiancé's Sael was the only one to write back to me, and she said that none of the family understood the joke or found it funny, but I laughed and sent me a little bag of chocolates. It almost broke my heart with how kind she was, but she was the only one to show me that kindness, and it was almost passive-aggressive in a sense. Regardless, I returned home and had 3 weeks with my fiancé before he shipped out for his military training, as he had decided to enlist while I was away. In that time, his sister and his brother both had babies, so it became all his mother could talk about. Once my fiancé left for his 6 months of training, I did my absolute best to keep his family posted on how he was doing, what his address was for them to write to, etc. His mother invited me to be a part of their family group chat and I appreciated that a lot. All they ever talked about though was the babies, and never once did they ask about their son/brother. I was the only woman in that chat that didn't have any children and they never actually included me on anything. I didn't take anything personally until they did two things during my fiancé's time away. 1. My ferret passed away and they knew about it. They even knew how much he meant to me and I had lost him so tragically after having him for 6 years. After FMIL found out about this, she never said a thing to me and went straight to the group chat to post jokes. My BIL and SAL got married, and never even told my fiancé or myself about the wedding, and we were never invited. I was mostly angry for my fiancé. After all, he was very close with his brother and the fact that he didn't even know that they were having a wedding with the family and what have you really got me annoyed. I instantly left the group chat without saying a word, and that's when his mother reached out to me to see why I had left the chat. I didn't want to start anything, so I just told her I needed space and time to grieve alone. Fast forward, and my fiancé finally comes home. His parents instantly start asking us when we plan on coming over to see them. I had to keep telling them that I don't have a passport yet, we really don't have the money to afford a flight, and with our military schedules, we can't exactly take time off to come see them soon. They keep making almost subtle jabs that I'm sure he really misses us and we really miss him. What's funny is that they have the money to buy tickets for themselves, they have friends over here in the States and they're retired. Yet they keep pressuring us to come see them and I have a very good feeling that they are blaming me for their son not flying to England. When I message Emile just to say hi, she will tell me all about herself and will never ask me about how I am doing, and when I decided to just tell her just to try and build a relationship, she ignores me. I feel very left out with his family, despite trying. Am I overthinking this or are these feelings of mine valid? Thank you. Edit 1, I should clarify as this has been brought up a few times. I rarely have any contact with his family except for when my fiancé is on a call with someone and invites me to join. The only time I was communicating between two parties is when my fiancé was doing his military training for 6 months, and when you are in training, you have very limited access to your cell phone and little time to write. I would message his mom when I heard from him just to let her know how he was doing and what he was up to, given he had very limited contact with her at that time. Is your fiancé the forgotten child, by any chance? You mentioning him staying with your grandparents versus going home, all the attention going to the babies, the missing invite to a wedding, his family doesn't sound like they make much of an effort for him, and they were rude to you. Stop trying with them. Take your husband's lead regarding his family and join the calls if you want, but save your energy for people who love and care for you. I get the feeling that you don't seem real to them and they are uncomfortable with treating someone like family that they don't know. I know you've tried to reach out to them, but some people just don't connect over text, and that's not something they can really help. Wait, you met your so rights before he went back home to the UK, right? Then he decided to move over here, and when you started your military service after 2 months he stayed with your grandparents. And then at some point he joined the military. Did he join the US military despite being a Brit, or did he join the UK service? I'm confused. OP also said his family used to live in the US, so I'm guessing he has American citizenship too. He has dual citizenship, so he is in the US military. Relationships are a two-way street. If they aren't bothering to make an effort, there is really nothing you can do to change that. You also don't want to be used as a convenience for when it suits them to communicate, wanting information, etc. Respond with "I am sure fiancé will let you know." Sometimes, no matter how hard you try to get along with in-laws, it is not going to work unless they put in the effort. Keep in touch with the sister but leave the parents to your fiancé. All you'll do is keep reaching out to be rejected. Sorry, my ignorance, because I am not in military. Is communication with family when you are in training for 6 months limited? Why it was you who had to pass info to his parents? Even if you had to do this before, now that he is back, there is no need to do this. This is bad precedent and too much mental work to handle them, also cultural differences, etc., etc. Your partner needs to handle them. He knows his parents best. And also himself resolve situation with the brother, WTF? If you are from US and family is from England, it is natural that you may not find jokes funny. This is one of the cultural differences and totally normal. It doesn't mean that their jokes are not funny or that you don't have sense of humor. Simply, you are different. Again, good reason for your partner to handle them. Having relationship when family is abroad is very hard. Family needs to understand this. You cannot just fly in, you have work, commitments, etc. They are retired and have money. Your partner can invite them and repeat the invitation each time this issue comes up. I understand you wanted to have close relationship with his family, but realistically this is hard and rare. Lower your expectations, just be friendly, but accept you may never be close. And again, your partner needs to step in and lead this, not the other way. Good luck. Handle it myself? Or put it on my husband? So this would be a post best read after skimming through my previous ones for details. Basically, my toxic mother-in-law leaked that I was pregnant before I even had my first appointment. Husband confronted her and she blamed me and said I was at an event talking loudly about it and made up a story that specific friends of hers heard and carried it to other specific friends. I put my foot down and said that since she lied and sacrificed them, they aren't allowed at anything baby related. I didn't tell her this because she would have lied further leading up to the baby shower. We are about a month out and invitations need to go out in a week or two for the gender/sex reveal. I would like advice on how to go about this. Should we just send my MIL an invite and invite the friends she didn't throw under the bus? I'm thinking that's best, but I also know she will ask if we invited all of her little crew. Should I leave my husband up to explaining to her that they aren't invited? As is also displayed in previous posts, my husband has done a very poor job defending me in the past 10 years and even has gotten angry at me for mentioning her abuse. He has always either expected me to be the bigger person or has told me I'm the one with the issue and that I'm holding on to everything she has done to me because I want to be hurt. After expressing to him that I am leaning towards divorce, he said he didn't know it was that serious and has found a marriage counselor that we will start seeing soon regarding my MIL. My question basically is, how involved should I be with breaking the consequences of her actions to her? If she contacts me directly, should I ignore her and redirect her to her son? Or should I just straight up get frank with her and cut the conversation short? The goal is for her to feel discouraged from leaking my information and lying about it in the future. And of course, to reduce the stress for the baby and I. This will be the first time in 10 years she has faced consequences for mistreating me. I'm bracing myself for a full temper tantrum. He doesn't have your back. It took his pregnant wife saying she was considering a divorce for him to maybe think about possibly doing something sometime in the future. He's abdicated the role of protector so he doesn't get a vote on how you handle what he's refused to handle. I tell her that, because of what she said about her friends, they can't be involved in any baby stuff. If, when they ask, tell them what she told you, they might like to know she backstabs them so she can backstab you. I'd also cut her out of everything you want to and explain it's because of what you said about your friends. It will sound to others like you don't trust her friends, but she'll know it's because of her. When she makes demands of you, you could ask, have you asked DH, or call out to DH that his mom wants to talk to him. I presume he has thumbs in a phone, so he can send photos of LO to his mom and therefore you don't. You can adjust your social media so she doesn't see photos because of what she said about her friends. Who knows what her friends would do? When husband complains that his mommy is angry, you might explain that she should be the bigger person and probably just wants to be hurt. Why are people that you are not directly friends with even get an invite? I always thought gender reveals, showers and such were for the friends and family of the parents. Not friends of a friend or friends of a family member. This. How about only people you have a direct relationship with are invited? You immediately family, friends, and anyone else who may be important you rather than important to her. If it were me, I wouldn't invite her at all. Wouldn't even inform her about the due date. Block her number, don't respond, and don't involve her in anything till the baby is a few months old. She can hear about all of it, way after it happened. If all of it was serious enough for you to contemplate divorce, you probably don't need her in your life at all. Not even a little bit. Also, I've never invited friends of my parents to my big life events. None. Nada. Never. And I've never even spent time with the friends of my parents-in-law. Not a single minute. This isn't a shower for your Mil and her friends. This is for you and babes on the way. The whole shower concept around where I am is to shower the mama to be with support and well wishes and shower her with gifts to welcome the baby. It's to help make sure baby has essentials. Your Mil will in fact use this as an opportunity to steal the show and get her crowd there for her toxic narc supply. Your hubby isn't being supportive at all. Be frank with her that you have limited space and no extra invitees, sorry, full stop. I read your previous history. If your hubby's head is still stuck up his mother's ass, he's not invited either. He just used marriage counseling as a way to get you to stop going anywhere. Make appointments ASAP because this will snowball into something worse when you are postpartum with hormones and an infant to care for. I've been here and it's awful, and unfortunately still in the midst of the crapshoot, and my babes is 15M. Stop giving her information to leak. That's much easier than all this "I'm not gonna invite her friends she lied about." Why do you need to invite them anyway? The shower isn't a party for her, it's for you, your baby, your pregnancy. Invite your friends. Stop kowtowing to her and your husband. Honestly, you'll get a bit of pushback, but you'll actually feel like you have some agency here, which you do. After all, you're a grown married woman who's about to have a baby. Stop going along with appeasing her. MIL is not a child and does not need her BFFs at anything you are hosting or is for you, exception being a party held in her honor, though not sure how often that happens. In this case it isn't about her, so she needs to STFU or not come. In a group text with Mil, so and you have so explained that she is not to expect her buddies to be invited to things going forward, including this event. And furthermore, that her current invite is conditionally extended. She needs to behave in a manner he would hold all guests to. Be well-mannered, do not make a scene, don't make someone else's event about her, and overall be a decent person. She is on thin ice and needs to get her act together. BC, it's been 10 long years of enabling her BS, and now it is do much better or be left out. Her choice. If she brings her friends, it's automatic time out for a long time and she will not be allowed to attend the event. And that this is not up for debate or discussion. He does not want to hear it. She is an experienced adult who should not need further clarification, and he is done with her excuses/explanations. She either does what she needs to do or does not come. The fun part of the group text is that it is coming from so in his own words, and she knows you can see what she says and there is proof to what was said. If she contacts you directly, don't talk to her about it. You are not going to discuss this with her. Don't pick up the phone and don't respond to texts. You're busy. Only invite immediate family and people you consider close enough to be family. If she asks about her gaggle of geese, tell her the old birds aren't related to you. I would say to have your husband handle it so he can start getting used to her tantrums, but be prepared to have to back him up when he gets bulldozed, because he currently has a spine made out of jello. None of her loser old lady friends get invited. Invite your friends. Let her pout and throw a tantrum. Tell your husband to deal with it. Some husbands, you tell them over and over in simple words how bad things are and how unhappy you are, then when you say divorce suddenly it's "I had no idea you were unhappy." He's absolutely the problem that needs to be fixed here. If she wasn't allowed to play her games, then you wouldn't be so frustrated. If he was your husband instead of her baby, then this wouldn't be an issue. Marriage counseling ASAP. If you have a good marriage, she could walk down the street in full clown gear waving an I hate OP flag, and all you both would do is laugh. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.